asked for me. Here I am.
You want to help me?
Is there anything you remember?
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross.
Welcome back to the Popcorn Perspective with your host Jay and AK. AK, we had quite a movie, right? Brave New World. So
Yeah.
the big question is it as bad as the critics are making it out to be, or is it actually a pretty good movie with just a few maybe bad choices?
I mean, you can definitely tell that there was many reshoots or rewrites throughout the film. A lot of plot lines just kind of end all of a sudden. I'm not trying to get
Right.
to spoilers. We can do a spoiler review here shortly, so this is going to be non-spoiler. But the story itself was very predictable, and I felt like a lot of the edits you could tell were just rewritten post shot or something. It felt very choppy at times. But what did you think about the story itself? Not being as big as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually like this movie. I think there was a lot of very similar, reminiscent of Winter Soldier. So there's a lot of uncovering of a mystery. Did I care for the mystery per se? Probably not. I think Winter Soldier just did that so
Yeah.
much better. Though I agree with you. I think there were choices they made that kind of felt as an afterthought that, hey, we'll just chuck it in kind of thing,
Yeah.
instead of it actually being part of the story.
Now one thing I did love about this movie is Harrison Ford. He kills it as Ross. Every scene he was in, or anytime he had a chance to give a dialogue or give a speech, he nailed it. And I felt for that character. We've known this character since Incredible Hulk from 2008. He's been in multiple projects since. I think this is the most I've actually enjoyed seeing, you know, Thunderbolt Ross. And no offense to the previous actor William Hurt who passed away, but I think Ford just makes it his own.
Yeah. There were so many good performances in this. Harrison Ford definitely stole every scene he was in. Who would have thought that guy can act?
And he was having fun. You could tell he was enjoying every second of it, which I enjoyed.
Absolutely. And we also had a Captain America, or Sam Wilson playing Captain America for the first time. I really enjoyed that. I thought that
Oh,
was
second
really
time. He was in
done
Falcon
well.
Winter Soldier as Captain America.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. And then we also got potentially the next Falcon, Joaquin Torres.
Yeah, he was
And
also in Falcon Winter Soldier as a very minor role, so it's kind of
yeah,
cool to see him back and have a big character development in this movie.
and it's such a fun character. I think he was the
Very.
highlight of the movie. I really enjoyed seeing him. And we also got a second showing of Isaiah, who, again, as AK mentioned, was in the TV show. So he also did an excellent job. He stole every scene, a lot of gravity in the way he acts. So I definitely enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing I actually liked that they improved on from the TV show, because I liked the TV show, but I felt since it was a show, they didn't expand on all the side characters as most shows would have done. Like Isaiah's character, we've probably had like 2 scenes, 3 scenes with him, but it always felt kind of underwhelming because I felt like they could have done so much more with that character. So I liked how this movie expanded on all those side characters, and instead of just forgetting about them, like Marvel does a lot of, we know from the leader, we know from Theodore Ross and Betty and all that, they like to forget characters and never bring them up. So it's kind of, I liked about this movie is they gave these characters a finality, or gave these characters more progress within their in-universe storylines.
Absolutely. And you're right, there were so many characters that got a much needed depth and characterization, or just a glow up, or just a refinement of their characters and where they want to see them in the next few years. So I thought they did a really good job of that. And
And I hope
this,
Marvel continues that, because that's one thing
yeah,
Marvel did great at in the first couple of phases is the continuity of these characters, and it's kind of been dropped since. So I hope they realize that and they start picking up these loose ends and start giving them some kind of character
yeah.
development. Yeah.
So, not getting spoilery here, it's mainly just talking about the trailer. I think everyone understands if you're going to go watch this movie, you're going to have the Red Hulk, you're going to have Serpent Society, and you're going to have Captain America donning his new persona. I will say, though, this story and what they went with actually would have worked a lot better as Secret Invasion than the Red Hulk storyline.
Oh, you mean like Captain America in charge of the Secret Invasion conspiracy?
No, Sam Wilson figuring out the invasion of the United States government. I think it would have reminisced a lot closer to Winter Soldier with Hydra, and I think the beats would have been
Yeah,
similar but different enough.
and that's another complaint I have. Is it's going off of what I just said was a good thing about continuity building upon this universe. The one complaint I have with this is, did everything that happened in Secret Invasion just not happen? Is that just because we had a different president who made the order to assassinate and kill all hero people because he was afraid they could be scrolls. Like that was the end of the end of the season. So now there's a new president, Ross. None of that was ever mentioned. His predecessor was trying to kill
Right.
scrolls. Like those type of things you expect them to mention off screen, like a news report. After beating the previous president due to his racial rhetoric on how to deal with mutants or whatever, President Ross plans to reunite the United States. There's some kind of blurb to show this
Right.
is a continuous universe.
Right.
I kind of wish we had that, like something to bridge what happened to Secret Invasion.
I
Even though
Yeah.
we all hate it,
This
give it some kind of finality still. Give it like even Eternals. There's that one fan who liked it. I loved Eternals. There might be that one fan who liked Secret Invasion.
I
Let
mean,
at
they
least,
touched on the Eternals with the celestial
which
body.
I loved. I
Yeah.
loved all that. Yeah.
Nice introduction of adamantium into the universe.
Okay, seeing Harrison Ford yell adamantium was amazing. That was great. Um,
So why don't we actually get into spoilers? If you
yeah,
want to give
so
out your
I
roundout
guess
score
let's go
or
ahead,
how you
yeah.
felt of the movie before
What
we
is your
start
score?
that.
Let's go see what you said first.
Okay, so I know we only have 3 tiers in ours, but I like to give it a little bit of ambiguity a little bit. This definitely could be a excellent home cooked, but I just thought it's good enough to go see in the theater. So I'm gonna put it as a higher home cooked to a lower go see it in theater. So popcorn, I'm at the end, like the lowest end of the theater popped.
I'm actually going to say watch this at home. This is a home cooked popcorn for me.
Really? Damn. Okay.
There's a lot that I liked about it, but something just felt off. And I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it's the change of the intro that kind of turned me off. So I think every Marvel movie since Endgame or Infinity War had that triumphant music dun 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 dun, dun like with the Marvel overlay with comic screenshots being overlaid in the MCU. It was missing, and it kind of like hit me. I was like, this is weird. Everything just felt off afterwards, and it was a fun movie. I loved seeing Anthony Mackie kick ass, and he is Captain America. He cements his name in this movie, but a lot of things just it felt like it could have been a TV show, and it could have been a fun TV show that spanned like 10 episodes. Felt like this
Okay.
didn't have to be a movie. And I think what happened in Falcon and Winter Soldier should have been Captain America, the first movie, like Captain America, Brave New World. You want to call it the same thing because that's basically the same thing. With the hand-faced people trying to find a new home after the snap, we brought
Hmm.
everyone back. You could have named it that, named how the government needs to be better to relocate people and not displace people. That could have been a great storyline on its own. With this, could have been a more drawn out. A lot of these plot lines, what's going on with Sidewinder and the Secret Society, that was kind of dropped. The
Yeah.
whole Red Hulk and the leader, that we could have given more gravitas between the partnership, like a flashback or something to show how ruthless Harrison Ford's Ross really was to uh the leader. And I'm trying to be not spoilers, so I know this is all the stuff that you could see from the trailers or was mentioned in the trailers. So I'm trying to be as vague as possible. But as a TV show, I feel like all this could have been a lot better explained.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. The only thing, the TV show wouldn't have had the budget for the fight scenes, which I
Yeah.
thought were excellent in this movie.
Oh, the fight scenes was
And
brilliant. I agree with
there
that.
was kind of like this mini, like little war that broke out. And I thought that was really cool. The graphics with that as well.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I see what you're saying. Story wise, it was a bit thin,
Mhm.
but I, I I still thought it as an enjoyable movie. But yeah, that's a really
Okay,
interesting
yeah.
perspective, man. Yeah.
No, I enjoyed the movie too. Like I told you, I had fun with the movie. I just felt like
Yeah.
a lot of the things that I liked with the movie just was it was just fine. It wasn't like amazing.
Right.
Like I liked it. It was like, yeah, I liked it. It was cool.
Nice.
But let's get to more
Awesome.
spoily stuff.
Yeah, let's get to the spoilers.
You mentioned
Um,
though, I know you mentioned that war that broke out. Are you talking about that fight between Japan and U.S. in
Yeah,
front of the adamantium skeleton? Okay,
exactly. Right, right, right.
that was spectacular, like
It
aerial
really
combat.
was.
That felt
It
very nice.
really was. And I saw it, I'm like, holy shit, they actually did such a
Yeah.
good job with the way they did that.
And I'm
So,
someone who actually was on the team of give Falcon the rings, Captain America doesn't need the rings. Like let Anthony Mackie be Captain America without having the suit on. No, no, no. He kills it with the suit. He's able to do some amazing stuff, the
right.
shield and suit combo.
Yeah.
I no, I'm actually sold on a ringed Captain America. That's kind of badass.
Really cool. And necessary, especially with the superhuman people that he has to go up
Oh yeah.
against. The Wakandan vibranium definitely comes to
That's
his
one
aid.
issue I had with this movie is that was what the whole TV show was about, is his struggle on if am I not powerful enough to take on these otherworldly threats.
Hmm.
And he kind of rehashes that same issue again in this movie. And I'm like, dude, you went through all that last TV show. You came to the conclusion that I don't need the power to be powerful. Why are you now like, oh, why am I listening to Winter Soldier? Why am I listening to him? I should have taken the serum. Like, you went through all this. I thought we had that
Right.
growth.
Right. I definitely agree with you, and it felt like a retread. Kind of unnecessary, but I guess in context it kind of made sense, especially with his friend going down.
Yeah,
He felt inadequate,
that
that
is
he
true.
wasn't there to protect him. So I guess within context it makes sense.
That's fair enough. And then one thing I was missing on is his sister. They had that amazing plot
Yeah.
line in
Yeah.
Falcon Winter Soldier, his sister and the family boat and the family business. And I just wanted at least a shout out, if not like half on screen, do like a voice call like, hey, I'm going dark. This, it's something bad's about to happen. I want you to be safe. Like something to show that he has that still connection to his family. Because that was a very wholesome part of his, the TV show's part of him, his
Yes,
character.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And so you actually touched on Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier. We do see an appearance, and I love seeing him.
Okay, did you
And
catch
he's
that?
running for governor, right?
Congress.
Congress, sorry, Congress, yeah.
Which is odd because he's also going to be the leader
In
of the
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. So that's
He
going to
might
go. That's
lose.
yeah, because that's going against the whole Sokovia Accords. Because that if he's a government official who is leading himself on combat, that means he's unchecked, which means he's going against the Sokovia Accords, from my understanding of that. So
Or maybe timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. Like, we don't know when the Thunderbolts comes out versus
we know
when this.
Thunderbolts takes place around the same time as Captain America: Winter Soldiers. No,
So maybe
Captain
this
America:
is
Brave
like
New
a
World.
maybe it's like a one-off mission that he has to do.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I'm very interested. Well, they do have that asterisk, Thunderbolt asterisk, meaning it
Yeah.
might be Dark Avengers. We talked about that previously. It might be
Yeah.
something different. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think it takes place right after this movie.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we're onto that.
Now, I
Um,
will be honest though, I do think that scene was one of the add-ons, the addition scenes. Like, oh wait, we should probably throw in Sebastian Stan here because technically they did have a pretty good connection last movie. We can't forget about him. And because why would he say, yeah, have fun. I'm gonna go take pictures with some, supporters instead of helping my best friend on a Captain America case. Like this is something I've been doing with my friend, Steve Rogers for the past 20, 30 years. Well, I should have helped the new guy out. And instead, he's like, yeah, have fun, bye. That seemed kind of out of character for Winter Soldier to just leave.
I definitely agree. Yeah, he
So
had
that's
to
why I
go for
think
a
it's an add-on.
fundraiser.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was like an add-on to like, hey, let's add this scene to it. Probably when Sebastian Stan was filming Thunderbolts, like, hey, just come to the studio, film the scene quickly. We'll import it into Falcon, into Captain America to show where you're at.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The scene just seemed out of place a little bit, but
I
it
appreciate it
definitely could
though.
have been added. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I love seeing Sebastian Stan.
and those two do have good chemistry back and forth. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, they have
They
good
do.
chemistry.
They do.
Um, Now I know one thing you and I were talking about after you watched the movie. We were texting about it. You did not like the way they handled the Red Hulk. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah. So I know the Red Hulk is probably the big draw that most people actually enjoyed and were anticipating to see. So for me, I didn't feel the Red Hulk storyline fit this narrative as much. It didn't fit well, in my opinion. I think I would have enjoyed this story if it was based more on the Skrulls or Secret Invasion. Remember, I kind of mentioned that a little earlier, and I think that storyline would have unraveled a lot better than it being a Red Hulk story, because a Red Hulk story would have been a lot better against Hulk. Because they were already drawing so many parallels, so many
Yeah.
comparisons to the Incredible Hulk. Why not tie that story out with the person you're actually referring to?
Yeah, this
That was
is
that was my biggest issue with it.
no. You're correct. This is basically a Incredible Hulk sequel.
Sequel. Yes.
Yes.
Way too many references for a movie. Probably a lot of people haven't seen it in a while.
And see, that's my issue. Is there's a lot of times where like something's so forgettable, like um, there's this big character that was in Age of Ultron, the person who created Vision's body, Chow, the Asian doctor. She was like some kind of body doctor. She's a big character in the comics, but she was like a kind of a small role in the movies, and like we don't need to keep bringing her back there. No one really cared enough for the
Right.
character. We can just move on. It's fine. Same thing with the leader. It's been 10 years since we've seen the leader. As much as I wanted them to redeem the character and actually give him that character arc that he has in the comics, the leader was
It
kind
was
of a
pretty
letdown.
bad though. Like the
It was
leader was
bad.
out of the
It was
three villains
Modok.
we got. Yeah,
It was
after the
Modok
three
level
villains,
of bad.
100%. Out of the three, who did you like? Out of the three villains we got,
I mean, I love Carlo Esposito, but he was underutilized. I didn't care for his character at all.
so underutilized. Yes.
The leader wasn't threatening. That weird voice that he had going on, that robotic mystery voice, I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
His design was ugly. Instead of the big head brains thing that he has in the comics, his
Yeah.
head was small with a brain creeping out. Just looked weird. He's supposed to have a large head, not a brain creeping out of his head. So the only real villain that was great was Wasp, but they kind of
Yes.
clarified that he's not a villain at the end of the movie,
He's
which I
not a
didn't
villain,
like.
right?
That's
So
what I don't like.
we got no
He,
villains really. No memorable villains.
he should have
let's put it
doubled
that way.
down. Like he should double down being a villain. Like he should have said, "Oh, I gave up
Yeah.
presidency." It should have been, "I'm arrested and court-martialed. But I'm coming back for what's mine. Like you guys destroyed my life, and I'm gonna now,
Yeah.
like give him like a very cheesy villain, or like I'm gonna come back and hunt you guys down. But like give him some kind of like finality instead. No, he's a good guy all along. He just has anger management problems, even though he spent the last 20 years hunting Hulk.
I know. So
It
yeah,
just
that was my biggest issue with it.
yeah.
I just it didn't feel like it was needed. But
Um,
nice to see the Red Hulk. I will say that.
But I know you had that issue with the Hulk. Though. I actually like the Hulk. I think it would have been better if the marketing did not spoil it.
Yeah,
The
please,
first trailer, they instead of hinting at the Red Hulk, like showing him breaking the pipes and the boat, like his face turned slightly red or like him sweating, those would have been great teases in the trailer. But
Yeah.
the trailer blew the load in the first trailer and showed Red Hulk breaking out of the White House, and I'm just like, well, now we know the big get your ass in the seats moment. Why are we
Yes.
going to go and sit down now? We know what's going to happen. The Hulk's going to break the White House, and at the end of the movie, within a 5 minute, like you could be better. Okay, okay, I'm good. I'm happy now. Imprison me, like it just the Red Hulk. If they did not spoil that, it would have been such a badass like conclusion. Him just
Yeah.
doing the White House, you'd be like, holy shit, they actually went here. They actually went all out instead of them hinting at it and just showing it all at once. I like the whole ending. I like the whole Red Hulk fight. I just feel like that could have been a big twist or big like moment.
Yeah. So I know you enjoyed the fight. I think for me, the CGI suffered a little bit, especially when they had the pan around zoom, where they had the cherry blossoms.
Oh,
That
yes, yes.
CGI just looked a bit
The cherry
off to me.
blossom, yeah, looked bad, but the
Yeah.
fight at the White House, like the
Yeah,
corridors, was
I can see
great. Yeah, when him jumping on top of the White House, that was a beautiful like shot. All those
Yeah.
shots were great. It was very reminiscent of like King Kong or like
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. But no, you're right. The cherry blossom, that whole fight scene definitely looked kind of CGI-ish.
Yeah, very much so.
But I think I'll be honest. I know you said they blew a lot of the money on the budget on the Red Hulk. I think the money went to all the aerial shots because he
Okay,
has a
yeah.
lot of aerial combat, and they are all spectacular looking.
Yeah, for sure. The war scenes in Japan and
Everything.
America, yeah, that was really good. For sure.
What did you think about? I guess we talked about Sidewinder or like Giancarlo Esposito's character. What did you think about that though? Like the whole Serpent Society story arc.
Yeah, it would have been cool if we got more.
Yeah.
But we didn't get much.
It kind of reminded me what they did with the Walton Goggins mafia or crime boss storyline from Ant-Man 2 when he's trying to
Oh,
hunt
yeah.
for the it was like some
Yeah, it was more of a joke.
offshoot yeah.
Yeah.
But they played it for jokes, and this one they played it so serious like, but I'm like, y'all are just jokes. Like they sent the leader of the Serpent Society to one-on-one Falcon or
Yeah,
Captain
why
America.
one-on-one? What
happened
was
to the
the
rest?
point of that?
Yeah, a moment ago we showed that you had like a whole army. Like, you had about 30 guys that listened to you. Like what happened to all of them?
Yeah, and it's like the guy who the leader or whatever his name is,
Sidewinder. Oh, the
Simon,
leader.
okay.
Oh, you're talking
Yeah,
about the guy
yeah.
calculator.
Calculator, yeah. He can calculate all these probabilities, and he's almost always wrong. And I'm like, why am I supposed to fear you, my guy?
In Civil War, Baron, which is Baron Zemo, his story arc
Yeah.
is like a lot of things were very coincidental. Like in Civil War, a lot of stuff, let's be real, probably wouldn't have gone the way it did, but for
Hmm.
movie magic, they kind of pushed the dominoes in such a direction. But it was believable enough. This one, a lot of it was just like, no, you just came to that conclusion just randomly and said, yeah, 95% chance it's gonna work. We'll go with that. Like there's this one part that he's like, oh, I needed, oh no, I was promised, like the leader was like, I was promised that I'll have my own life back and I'll be let go, after I save him from my heart issue. So I saved him from a heart issue, and that was like 8 years ago. So now for the past 8 years, I've been planning his demise by poisoning him for the last 8 years with poison pills. Like, why did you take? Why was this so long? Why didn't you just say immediately? I'm just gonna poison you the moment you're healed. Like you knew he was not gonna let you out. Like you've been talking about how he tortured you, how he mutilated you. Why did you like? In your process of probability, where was the probability saying that? Oh yeah, just poison for 8 years and then he'll let me out. What?
I, yeah,
That's a
not
very long. That's
intimidating.
playing the long con, like the long game, like no other. Like
The longest game.
the longest con ever. I was like, yo, you waited 8 years to see if he'll let you out versus saying, hey, it's been a year and
Yeah.
you have not let me out yet. I'm gonna just go kill you now. Like I have control of your body DNA. I can just poison one pill and just kill you tomorrow. Like you
So
hold
that's
all the cards. Like
instead of being a sequel to The Incredible Hulk, this should have been a sequel to Secret Invasion. I think that's the story would have just fit in so much more
it's either a
streamlined.
sequel to Secret Invasion or a sequel to that one land, one movement arc from Falcon Winter Soldier,
Yeah, yeah.
terrorist group. That's one thing that I feel like Marvel has never done good at. Even this is starting all the way from like Iron Man 1. If you remember Iron Man 1, the main villain, he was part of the Ten Rings
Seven,
organization, the Ten
ten
Rings
rings. Yeah, yes.
organization. Instead of like building the Ten Rings up, because Ten Rings is a big villain of Iron
Right.
Man. He was only there. Then they were only shown barely in one movie. So instead of building them up over 3 movies and have them like in the third movie have a big showdown with the Mandarin, what is his name?
Mandarin. Yeah,
Mandarin.
yeah.
They did that in the third movie, but it was kind of underwhelming because they didn't build that terrorist group up.
Right.
And that's
Right.
one thing that Marvel should be doing. They should be building up these other organizations, these other companies. Like they did that with Hydra. They built them up for like 3 movies, and it was so
The
rewarding in
payoff
Winter
was so
Soldier.
much
It was so
better.
good.
Right. Agreed.
And these payoffs just
Agreed.
don't work when you have secrets of the Serpent Society who fails at every mission, or the leader who we haven't seen in 10 years, and he fails immediately when he has a chance to shine. Like, give the villains a win so we can feel more scared of them in the future stories.
And then the only character you have a connection with, Thunderbolt Ross, you immediately turn him into a good guy at the end.
Yeah. And
So
he's the only one that you build up for the past 4 to 5
yeah,
movies as a fairly decent villain. Like a fairly scary, like not scary guy, but like just you don't want to mess with this guy because he has no
right.
morality. Like he's an Amanda Waller. He just wants results.
Yeah.
And that's what they could have played him as, like a result oriented guy. Like he'll do whatever it takes to see what his vision of just is. And
They
they could
should
have played
have
with that morality.
they should have done a Cecil for him. I think that sort of
Yeah.
duality and complexity would have worked
It would have been
really
great.
well. Cecil
Because
Incredibles is a TV show. If you haven't
yeah.
watched it, we have some reviews over it. Definitely go watch it.
That's another issue I have with like eventually we're gonna have Norman Osborn join the MCU, right, with Spider-Man. We have
Right.
Fisk and the Daredevil. Fisk has been built up now for 3 seasons, a little bit in the Punisher TV show, and now a little bit in the Defender TV show, and now obviously Echo and Brave New Born Again, Daredevil Born Again coming out next month. So he's had a lot of time to build up. But the thing is no other organization has. We've never
Hmm.
been introduced to Oscorp yet. We've had 3 Spider-Man movies and no Oscorp mentioned. Like,
Right. Yep.
I don't know why we don't build up these groups in the comics who plays big roles on these heroes like life. They make a lot of impacts. Killing Gwen Stacy or identifying Spider-Man. Like these are all stuff that they've done, like to punish Spider-Man as a character, or like Fisk running for mayor, having the government stamp on him, like being like a political leader who's running a mob crime boss, like tormenting all the heroes with the Sinister Six and all that. Like all the stuff is missing because Marvel is too lazy to keep recurring these characters, so keep bringing them back.
I agree.
Like,
And
are we going to
the thing
see?
is, they can do it. We've seen them do it. It's
Yeah.
just they're refusing to do it. And I'm not sure
Are we going to
why.
see Isaiah again? Are we going to see Sidewinder again? Like,
Sidewinder for sure.
are we though?
I think so.
I'm just saying, like if Marvel wanted to really right the wrongs of late, and Thunderbolt should 100% mention things that happen. Like, we have no president right now. Like, we're still like in a gray area. The government's all over the place trying to fight for power. Like, the VP is trying to hold under control, and all, making more political, like, add the political intrigue of everything that's happened beforehand,
All right.
right?
Yeah.
And show that's why the Thunderbolts were created, because there's a chaos in Washington right now, and people calling for
Right.
power, and that's where Valentina decides to come out and says, "Hey, I'm now going to come out of nowhere and be the savior of White House or savior of Washington or something." Like, I
Yeah.
hope to play into it instead of not just a whole new story that doesn't reference any story that came out beforehand.
Okay, imagine they start Thunderbolts with a meeting between Valentina and Thunderbolt Ross when he's locked up, and apparently like all of this is going to plan in a sense, like him stepping down and stuff. Like, could you imagine? Like that would be pretty.
That would
That
be
would be
good.
that would be pretty badass.
But that's another issue though, is with the money, the amount of money that Marvel spends on their actors. Now, like, I feel like now actors expect that much money, so
Yeah.
you can't ask Harrison Ford like, "Hey, I want you to be in a 2-3 line scene. You only have like 2 or 3 lines of dialogue, and we'll pay you $1.5 million." Like, that's
Yeah,
a
that's
waste of
true.
money then. And
That's true. That's
that's
true.
kind of an issue that Marvel has kind of ran into, is everyone knows Disney pays well, so let's jump onto the Marvel bandwagon and ask for
Yeah.
a high budget. Was Marvel going to say no to Harrison Ford? Like, "Hey, no, we don't want you in this movie anymore because you're too expensive." No, you're going to take that actor. You're going to keep him. Like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
because if
Any
you
other
look at,
thoughts on this movie though?
oh no, no. Other than that, like
Yeah.
I said, it's an enjoyable movie. It has great like political, I guess, intrigue at times, shaky storytelling, a lot of like loose ends. For a movie that's closing out loose ends, it leaves a lot more loose ends to it.
Yeah, I
But
did appreciate the attempt though at closing out a few of
yes,
those loose
oh,
ends.
100%. Um, the Celestial fight was fantastic. Easy a highlighted fight scene for me. With
Yeah.
Japan and
What did you
US.
think of the end credit? So there's no mid credit, but there is an
Oh,
end credit.
it didn't. It's just it's a forgettable end credit because I didn't care for
Yeah,
the leader, and I felt
yeah,
like they're kind of giving him that same Captain America, Sam Wilson, the same art that they gave Iron Man. Like, he's now knows that something bad's to happen, and he needs to be the one to protect him. And does
right.
that mean he's going to give his life up in Secret Wars? That's kind of what they're building it, kind of like with Iron Man. I hope not. I hope we
Yeah.
have like 3 or 4 Captain America movies with Sam Wilson, but it was about a 6.5 for me. I'm going to give you a straight number, 6.5. It was fun. It wasn't great. Simple as that.
Agreed. Forgettable. That's perfectly said.
It had great moments though. Like I said, I do love seeing the Red Hulk out. That's probably
Yeah.
that's probably the best we've seen the Hulk in a while now.
Yeah. Yeah. Though out of the Captain America list, where would this rank for you?
Probably third. Like, I
Third?
think Winter
Okay.
Soldier is my favorite. Civil War would be
Yeah.
my second favorite. Then this one and First Avengers. And there's no diss on First Avengers. I love that movie
Yeah.
a lot, but it does tend to be forgettable.
I agree. I agree. I would have to give this one just slightly more than the first Avenger, just
Mhm.
because the first Avenger was really not my favorite movie.
It has
And
a lot
this
of good
one,
in it.
right, it did. But this one, I thought the intrigue was just a little bit better, even though I
Hmm.
didn't agree with the narrative that they went with.
Yeah. CGI was kind of shaky at times. But the action, when we had like longer takes, action one-on-one
Yes.
shots or hand-to-hand shots, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
The flight scenes were fantastic, and they didn't force comedy, and that's one thing I liked. It had that Winter
Yes,
Soldier
I
comedy
agree.
where it was more dry, more subtle. Like,
Yeah.
instead of in your face dropping a one-liner, it was more like casual banter between two
Right.
actors, which felt more realistic, which I
I
appreciated.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I think the humor is done much, much better.
And this is the humor I hope to like they continue with. I think
Yeah.
some movies you can lean on the humor, like Ant-Man. Paul Rudd is just a comedic guy. Same with
Hmm.
Star-Lord. They can do the humor, but compared to like Captain America or like Winter Soldier or Black Panther, we can keep that humor kind of out. We can keep it
Right.
more grounded and
Let
like
me
the
say this
dialogue.
for this movie. Marvel have had a lot of mixed bags of movies lately. I want this to be the floor. Like, This, in my opinion, is good enough to go watch in theater.
Okay.
And I'm like, let this be your basis and build upon this.
I like that. Yeah, this is as and it's sad to say because on Cinema Score and all these Rotten Tomatoes, this is now considered like the top three lowest scoring MCU movie.
I don't
It
think
does
it
not
deserves
belong
that.
that. It does
Yeah.
not. No,
Like the audience scores for Rotten Tomato, I think that's a better
more
reflection, though.
indicative.
Though I think it's a little higher, yeah, a little bit in the medium.
Yeah, because there's no way you'd say this movie is worse than a movie like let's see, what would be the worst, like Dark World, or like
Yeah, Dark World, and then Thor.
that the Love and Thunder.
Yeah, Eleventh Thunder for me is not very good.
Yeah,
And
like
then
Ant-Man
Ant-Man,
Quantumania.
Quantumania. Oh my God, yeah, like
Like
this
even
is
yeah,
way better than all of those.
yeah, like this, and I liked Eternals, and I understand the hate for Eternals. I would say this is probably slightly like more reasonable than Eternals. I think Eternals I liked
Yeah,
it for its high concept. This is more easier to chew on. So like,
and this might sound controversial, but I personally would rewatch this movie over Wakanda Forever, like the second Wakanda.
oh wow,
I
really?
think this has a better rewatchability than that
That is
movie.
true. I do find Wakanda Forever kind of hard to rewatch. Maybe just the
Yeah.
emotional
The
draw
emotion
that
in the
movie
beginning,
has.
probably, yes,
Yeah, it's
that
more
could
like
be it.
emotional abuse. Like when I watch it, I
But the story wasn't the most enticing
it's hard. I
with
can't fault them. I can't fault them with the
the
writing.
yeah, but they were always going to bring Atlantis, right? The Namor and his people. I did not feel that worked with the storytelling,
I
in
feel
my
like because
opinion.
they had to do a lot of stitching up because of the
True,
unfortunate passing, and
true.
a lot of the storylines they wanted to do highly involved the already experienced king
That's
versus
true, actually.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's a good
because
point.
they had to have the idea that there's now no king and now there's a power grab that the Americans are trying to grab like vibranium because that's the most logical thing
Okay,
that America would do. Let's be
right,
real. So they had to play into that. They couldn't just continue it as now she's the leader because she had to earn it, right?
right, right.
So
Okay, yeah, that makes
I
sense actually.
understand the writing issues. They had a lot that they were juggling with due
It's
to the
true. It's
unfortunate
true.
passing of Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace.
Yeah,
But
great actor.
that's a different. That's time for different. We talk about it
Yeah,
later on.
for
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, overall, watch it if you just want a fun, turn your brain off, just enjoy popcorn movie. But just be warned, you'll walk out wanting more.
Yeah, yeah, that's a perfect summation. I think I landed a little bit more optimistic than you. I think I enjoyed the movie far more than I was expecting to.
Now, I
I
will
had
say,
very
is
low hopes for it.
if every other Marvel movie or TV show that comes out this year, we have Born Again, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and a couple other TV shows. I think Marvel Zombies and something else coming out later on this year. If all of them nails it and they're all great watches, I'll be less harsh on this movie. I'll be more
Okay,
like, you know what? It was a fun movie because everything else has been great. I don't
right.
mind. But if this movie sucked, Thunderbolts sucked, Fantastic Four was kind of let down. I'll be more sour on this movie because it kind of started the sour journey of the year. So
That's true. I can see
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so hopefully this is the lowest that the year goes. Hopefully every movie onwards, every show onwards is a step up from this, but that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I think they did a lot of fundamentals right, so I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
definitely. But anything else you gotta say, Jay?
Nah, man. Go watch
No?
it. I think it's
Yeah.
fun. It's worth it.
Let us know down below. Was this movie what you expected it? Did it exceed your expectations? Did it, just barely meet them? Like it barely met mine? Let me know down below. Thanks.
All right. Peace.